Welcome to Senior Health Smart, your daily dose for better health.
Morning risks no one talks about until it's too late. I'm on a mission to spread meaningful values and positive thinking in life, especially for older adults who deserve more attention, particularly when it comes to heart and brain health. If you're over 60, I want to tell you something important that you might have never heard before. Your brain is not just getting older, it's getting more vulnerable, especially in the early morning hours. You may think waking up and going about your day is just a routine, but for your brain, the first hours after waking are a battlefield. For years as a cardiologist and nutritional advisor for seniors, I've seen countless cases where patients suffered strokes, confusion, memory lapses, or even fainting episodes all before breakfast. It wasn't random. The clue was in the clock. Between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., your body goes through a series of physiological changes that can quietly harm your brain if you're not prepared. Blood pressure rises rapidly. Hormonal stress levels spike. Cortisol, the so-called stress hormone, peaks. Your heart beats harder. Blood vessels constrict, and your blood becomes thicker, more prone to clotting. For a healthy 30-year-old, that's not a big problem. But for someone over 60, especially someone with high blood pressure, a history of heart disease, or even just mild plaque buildup in the arteries, this shift can push the brain into crisis mode. One small clot, one small vessel rupture, one oxygen dip. That's all it takes. But most seniors don't notice. They think it's just a headache or a bit of grogginess. Some skip breakfast, others jump straight into activity, and in doing so, they accidentally stress their most vulnerable organ without realizing it. But now you know, and that awareness is your first defense. Because the good news is this risk is not only avoidable, it's fixable. And in the next parts, I'll show you exactly how to protect your brain every morning starting tomorrow. The science behind morning brain vulnerability after 60. Let's take a closer look at what's really going on inside your body each morning after the age of 60. When you open your eyes, your body doesn't just wake up, it launches into action. Your brain and heart begin responding to light, temperature, posture changes, and internal clocks known as circadian rhythms. These rhythms are like your body's internal timekeepers, telling every system when to rest, when to heal, and when to prepare for action. But here's the twist. After 60, these rhythms become less precise. Your body becomes more sensitive to changes and less efficient at adjusting to them. Imagine this. During sleep, your heart rate is low, your blood pressure is relaxed, and your brain is in a protected restorative mode. But as you start to rise, your sympathetic nervous system kicks in, the fight or flight response. It's supposed to help you wake up, but it also comes with sudden increases in blood pressure, glucose levels, and clotting factors in your blood. At the same time, cerebral blood flow, the blood supply going directly to your brain, can fluctuate. And with aging, the blood vessels in your brain may already be stiffened or narrowed, making these fluctuations more dangerous. For a brain that's aging, this early morning spike in pressure and stress can be enough to cause microvascular damage. Small vessels can tear or clog. That's why strokes and transient ischemic attacks often occur in the morning. That's why many seniors report foggy thinking or dizziness within the first hour of waking up. It's not a coincidence. It's physiology. It's not about being lazy or slow. It's about being smart and aware. Now add in dehydration, which is extremely common in older adults who haven't had water for 8 hours overnight. Your blood becomes thicker, your circulation sluggish, and the risk of clotting increases. Many seniors also skip breakfast or delay eating, which further deprives the brain of glucose, its primary fuel source. The result? A perfect storm. High stress hormones, low hydration, low blood sugar, narrow arteries, and a brain crying out for stability. If you've ever felt faint, confused, or extremely fatigued in the morning, that wasn't just aging. That was your brain sounding the alarm. But don't worry, the alarm is also your opportunity, because there are daily habits you can use to protect yourself, and that's exactly what we'll cover next. Morning habits that silently harm your brain without you noticing. Let's talk about the things you might be doing every morning that could be silently putting your brain at risk. These habits often feel harmless, even healthy, but for someone over 60, they can carry hidden consequences. And most importantly, you might not feel the damage until it's already happened. First, let's start with the most common mistake, getting up too fast. You might not think much of it, but jumping out of bed quickly causes a sudden drop in blood pressure to the brain. This is called orthostatic hypotension, and it's far more common in older adults. When blood doesn't reach the brain fast enough, you feel dizzy, lightheaded, or confused. But even without those symptoms, small blood flow drops can cause subtle cognitive impairment. Second, many people over 60 start their day with caffeine, before hydrating, before eating, and sometimes on an empty stomach. Coffee might give you a quick burst of alertness, but it also constricts blood vessels and increases blood pressure. When you combine that with dehydration from sleep, your blood gets thicker, your vessels tighten, and your heart works harder to get blood to your brain. Not a good combination. Third, skipping breakfast altogether is one of the most common and dangerous habits. You might think you're saving calories or giving your digestion a break, but your brain needs glucose first thing in the morning. Without it, your mental clarity drops, your energy plummets, and your risk of fainting or even stroke increases, especially in those with diabetes or vascular problems. Fourth, immediately engaging in high-stress activity, like checking email, reading the news, or handling problems, triggers a spike in cortisol. That's the stress hormone we talked about earlier. When cortisol is already high in the morning and you add more stress, it can overwhelm your nervous system. Over time, this constant activation harms both your memory and mood. Lastly, many older adults start their day indoors, without natural sunlight. But morning sunlight is crucial for resetting your circadian clock. It helps regulate sleep, reduce brain fog, and stabilize blood pressure. Staying in the dark throws your rhythm off track, and that affects everything from heart rate to focus. The truth is, none of these habits feel harmful in the moment, but done daily, they add up. They quietly push your brain toward vulnerability. The good news, every one of these can be reversed. And in the next section, we'll walk through exactly how to build a morning routine that protects your brain, not harms it. The brain-protecting morning routine doctors recommend after 60. Now that we understand why your brain is more vulnerable in the morning, let's talk about what you can do instead. Because the truth is, the first 60 minutes of your day hold incredible power. When approached the right way, they can sharpen your focus, stabilize your blood pressure, and dramatically reduce your risk of stroke or memory decline. It starts before you even rise. The moment you wake up, take a few deep breaths and allow your body to adjust. Instead of jumping out of bed, sit up slowly. Let your legs dangle for a moment. Give your cardiovascular system time to balance blood pressure before standing. This small pause can prevent dizziness, falls, or temporary blood flow drops to your brain. Next, drink a full glass of water before anything else. Not juice, not coffee, just water. Overnight, your body becomes mildly dehydrated. Rehydrating right away thins your blood, improves circulation, and helps your brain receive the oxygen and nutrients it needs. Within 15 minutes of waking, try to step outside or near a window for natural light. Bright light in the morning helps reset your circadian rhythm, which governs not only your sleep cycle, but your hormonal balance and blood pressure. Morning sunlight tells your brain it's time to be alert and awake, naturally. Now, eat a balanced breakfast. This does not mean a heavy meal. In fact, light but nutrient-dense is ideal. A combination of protein, healthy fat, and complex carbohydrates stabilizes blood sugar and gives your brain the glucose it needs to function well. Think oatmeal with chia seeds, scrambled eggs with avocado, or Greek yogurt with nuts and berries. Avoid sugary cereals or skipping breakfast altogether. If you take morning medication, make sure it aligns with your meal and hydration timing. Many heart and blood pressure drugs require food or fluids for safe absorption. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist to confirm what's best for you. Gentle movement is also powerful. A short 5-minute stretch or walk stimulates circulation and wakes up your muscles. This reduces stiffness, helps oxygen move through your system, and primes your brain for better focus. And finally, guard your emotional space. Avoid stress triggers like breaking news, financial tasks, or emotional conversations right after waking. Instead, start with something calming, like music, journaling, or simply sitting quietly. This stabilizes your nervous system and protects your brain from unnecessary stress spikes. These small intentional steps may not seem life-changing, but together they create a neurological safety net. A calm start, a hydrated brain, steady blood flow, balanced fuel, and clear mental space. That's how you protect your brain after 60. That's how you thrive. If you followed along this far, then you already understand something most people never will. The vulnerability of your brain after 60 isn't random. It's rooted in biology, in blood flow, in hormone shifts, and in the everyday habits that either protect or harm your most vital organ. But here's the most important thing I want you to remember. You are not powerless. In fact, you hold more control than you think. You may not be able to reverse time or erase every risk factor, but the way you start your day sets the tone for your brain's long-term health, and it's never too late to change that. Every morning offers a new chance to protect your future self. So let's imagine your day tomorrow. You wake up and stay in bed just a few seconds longer. You breathe, you move slowly, you sit up, sip water, feel the light on your face, and hear your breath calm. You nourish your brain with a breakfast designed to fuel, not spike, your system. You stretch your body, not as a workout, but as an act of kindness. You avoid that urgent message, that stressful email, or that noisy headline, and instead let your nervous system awaken gently. What you're doing in that first hour is more powerful than you realize. You're lowering your stroke risk. You're protecting your memory. You're improving your mood, your focus, your balance. You're showing your brain, your heart, and your body that they are worth protecting. And when you do that consistently, day after day, the effects multiply. Fewer dizzy spells, fewer headaches, better clarity, better sleep, and for many, fewer visits to the ER. As a cardiologist and nutritional expert for older adults, I've seen these changes work in real people, not just studies. Men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, reclaiming their mornings and protecting their minds, all because they started doing things differently, one step at a time. So today I invite you to begin. Start tomorrow differently. Protect your brain. Take control of the most important hour of your day. And if this message helped you or reminded you of someone you love, I encourage you to do one more thing. Subscribe to our channel, leave a comment about what you're changing in your routine, and share this video with someone over 60 who needs to hear it, because the mornings that feel quiet are often the ones where silent damage is happening. But with knowledge, care, and a little support, they can become the most powerful part of your day.